Hey, despite yesterday's Supreme Court ruling that struck down much of Arizona's illegal immigration law, Governor Jan Brewer is still vowing to enforce one crucial part that the court upheld that made her quite happy.
That's right. The rule that allows police officers to check a person's immigration status, no questions asked.
Today is a day when the key components of our efforts to protect the citizens of Arizona, to take up the fight against illegal immigration in a balanced and constitutional way, has unanimously been vindicated by the highest court in the land.
But with the Obama administration effectively vowing to ignore that law, what is left? Will the law still work?
Steve wouldn't ask me that, but he would ask Judge Napolitano that. He's a senior political judicial analyst. So, Judge, is she right? Does she have a reason to rejoice?
I don't think so, but in fairness to her, she's obviously looking for how much water is left in the glass rather than how much has been poured out by the court. The heart and soul of the statute, which is when the federal government is not doing its job, the states can stand in the shoes of the federal government. That's been out. And the Supreme Court said that with respect to immigration, that can't be done. What Governor Brewer was happy about a few minutes ago has since changed. At the time she made that statement, she was under the belief that if you were stopped for a non-immigration event, something as profound as murder or as frivolous as jaywalking, the police could ask you for your immigration status.
Right. They can?
They can. That's the part of the statute that was left in place by the Supreme Court. But since she made that statement, the Obama administration said two things which will profoundly frustrate her and the good people of Arizona. They said, we're not going to tell the police the immigration status of people whose status we are aware of, and we're not going to take the human beings. We're not going to accept people from the police in Arizona who have immigration problems unless they're charged with a felony. So basically what remains of the statute is just a gathering of statistics.
It's like amnesty. Not technical amnesty, but if you're there without a felony on your record,
you know, if I could wear my political hat for a minute, I would say that the Republican Party in Arizona should be very happy. It's almost inconceivable that the president can carry that state this November after what he's done to their sovereignty and their independence.
Okay, take that hat off for a second. Back to the legal Judge Napolitano.
Yes, Mr. Comey.
I didn't think it was allowed for you not to decide not to enforce a Supreme Court ruling. How can you decide that? How could that be okay?
Well, it's not a matter of not enforcing a Supreme Court ruling. It's a matter of exercising discretion. There's even some reference. There's even reference in the Supreme Court opinion to the discretion that federal authorities have when deciding how aggressively to enforce something or when to pull back. And they've decided we want to pull back so much we're not even going to give Arizona police information that up until yesterday we used to give them.
Well, you just cited part of the majority opinion that was written by Justice Kennedy yesterday, and it says discretion in the enforcement of immigration law embraces immediate human concerns. Unauthorized workers trying to support their families, for example, likely pose less danger than alien smugglers or aliens who commit a serious crime. Some discretionary decisions involve policy choices that bear on this nation's international relations.
Well, that's very soothing words for the Obama administration.
Could help them pass a DREAM Act.
Yes, it could. It also gives them comfort when they decide, you know what, we're not going to enforce the portions of the immigration law that the president doesn't like.
We don't like.
The president can decide not to enforce something if he believes it's unconstitutional. He can't decide not to enforce something just because he disagrees with it.
All right, so do you think this could lead to the DREAM Act?
Well, you know, that's going to require a lot of Republican votes who probably would prefer to address this after the November elections.
But don't you think this is a preview of how the president, if elected to a second term, might just, you know, if he can't get any help in Congress, he's just going to do a lot of these executive things?
Absolutely. If you think those executive orders are dangerous now, just wait until he doesn't have to face re-election again.
All right. Judge Andrew Napolitano, the man with at least two hats that we know of. We thank you very much.
A pleasure, guys. Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Yes, because it keeps me on straight, or else I'll be committing crimes every